Right guys, if you, like myself, have got aspirations to be a successful YouTuber, then you probably started out life using a selfie stick and your phone in landscape mode. You may very well have upgraded to a camcorder, but ultimately for professional quality content, you're going to be wanting to use a gimbal. I've got here the DJI RONIN RS2 Pro Combo Kit, coupled up with my Nikon D850 and a professional quality Sigma lens. The reason I bring this up is because it is a heavyweight, and if like myself you're using Nikon or Canon or something similar that is on the heavier end of the scale, you might have questions: are they compatible and suitable for use with the Ronin? The answer is quite simply yes, they are. The reason I mention this is because most people that you see using the gimbal are using the mirrorless versions such as the Sony. What we're going to do in this video is go through balancing and testing. And then I want to get out of Dodge because outside is absolutely gorgeous and I want to start making some proper serious content. So without further ado, let's build our gimbal. Okay then, so let's start building the gimbal. Right. Inside, let's go through the various components. First of all, we've got the extendable grip, which is the tripod. We have the power grip, so you charge the power grip through the USB-C port here, and the power indicator lights will show up here. We have the horizontal base for your horseshoe clamp there. We have the mobile or cellular phone bracket, depending on what side of the pond you come from. And then we've got the briefcase grip. We'll go into that on the testing phase later, so we'll just put that to one side. We also have 3 cables. You've got the USB-C to USB-C straight cable. You have the mini HDMI to mini HDMI cable. And you have the USB-C to USB-C cable with an elbow head. We also have a lens bracket with a lens strap, and it's important to note on the lens strap that there is a Velcro exterior and a smooth rubber interior. Make sure that when you thread it through the bracket itself here, that the rubber is facing inwards so it applies to the exterior of your lens. We also have a lens bracket nut and a hot shoe. The other little pouch, we've got the Raven Eye, which is a wireless transmitter and comes with a Pro Combo Kit, along with a focus motor, which we're not going to go into on this particular video. And in the main compartment, we've got the head itself. Okay, so now we've got the main components laid out as they should be. First of all, we're going to attach the power grip to the tripod with the screw nut. Bing bang bosh, done. Then on the head itself, we've got 3 protective covers. So the first protective cover we want to take off is this one here. That allows us to attach the power grip into the housing. Okay, now you'll notice on this side we've got a quick release clamp. So if you pull that in, pull up and forward, then it'll come off. Okay, and then again it'll just clip in nicely. Okay, so next what we want to do is remove the control panel protective cover. That'll expose your joystick, your record button, your mode button, your power button. We also have here on the front your trigger and your focus and zoom wheel. Next, what we want to do is release a couple of the motors. Okay, so we're going to start off with the roll motor. So using this button here, push up to unlock, pull it out towards you or away from you if you're actually looking at the lock, and then clamp it, and it'll lock into place automatically. The next is the tilt motor. So again, there's a lever here, so unlock that, let it swing down, lock it, give it a bit of a nudge, and you'll see it's locked in place. So starting from the top to the bottom, you got your tilt motor, your roll motor, and your pan axis motor. Okay, here is your horizontal plate, and we're just going to attach the other horizontal plate in by sliding that in. And then on the side here, you've got a roll adjuster, which is a cog. Okay, get it about halfway and you're okay. And then just gently, not too tight for now, is just lock that in. Okay, so unlocking the rear lever on the plate and then attaching the horseshoe. It's highly recommended you got a flathead screwdriver available for this. We're going to get the horseshoe clamp into place, and it's important to note that anything that requires tightening is tightened really well and adjusted precisely, because it is a precise and delicate piece of equipment, this gimbal. And when you're going through calibration and testing stage, you'll notice there's a lot of movement, there's a lot of weight involved, and if any of the nuts should adjust by the slightest little bit, it'll knock all your balancing out of sync. And then whilst you're filming, you're going to be heavily frustrated because you'll wonder what's happening. So now attaching your camera via the horseshoe, locking it into place with the clamp, let me be careful here, on the back, which is just here, so just lock that in. Nice and tight. Okay, so that's nice and secure. Okay. Next, we're going to put in the lens support bracket. So we're going to loop over the band strap, and I'm doing this for your benefit, so it's making it a little bit more difficult for me. So you can see, so there's 3 nut holes here, so just using the middle one and pushing up is secure the lens support bracket in. Move the strap over to an area where it will be free to allow the lens to focus and zoom when necessary. Lock that in. Right, so that's all done. Okay, next we're going to put in the Raven eye. Okay, so the Raven eye's got a hot shoe clamp there, and underneath there's a recess that you can push it into, push, and you'll hear a little clip. Okay, making sure the antennas are facing outwards. Bear in mind, you also need to charge up your Raven eye the night before as well. So using the HDMI or the mini HDMI to mini HDMI, on the left hand side as you're looking at it from the rear, place that in to the furthest port and then into the appropriate HDMI port on your camera. Now the Nikon D850 has it right on the bottom. Using the straight USB-C to USB-C next to the HDMI, then underneath and up, removing the USB port protector, place it into the RSS port at the top of the tilt motor, and then we're going to use the elbow USB-C on the right hand side as you're looking at it from the back, and then placing that into the bottom USB-C port. Okay, so that's all that done. Okay, we can, if we want, at this stage put on the mobile phone, cellular phone bracket. Okay, and that goes onto the NATO port. Swing that round, and there you go. Okay, so we're now ready for balancing. Okay, this is where we need to practice patience. So, woosta! Okay, so as I said, for balancing, you're going to need to practice some patience here. It's very fine adjustments, and the slightest millimeter forwards or backwards will just set it all out. So It's advisable to have a pen and paper to write down the numbers, so for future reference when you return back to it, you've got a good indicator of where you need to be. So what we're going to do is start with the vertical arm here from the tilt motor. Now, I know roughly where it should be, but it's going to take some trial and error on your part to try and find a sweet spot. So I'm going to go around, so there's numbered indicators, and I'm going to get to about 2.1, which is where my sweet spot normally is. Okay. And then I'm going to unlock the tilt motor. So you see here where my finger is now, it's around 2.1. Okay, we've got the tilt motor open. The aim is to get the camera to sit upright. Okay, which it does. So that's a good move. But also, I want to be able to find a balance. So if I leave it like that, it stays like that. So that is now going to take this bar to be adjusted. And if you hold your hand just at the back here, being careful to keep hold of the camera all the time because it's now going to slide under its own weight, you can just hold the camera anyway and you feel the weight shifting. So I can feel that's front heavy. So let's go backwards. Okay. Minute little adjustments. See how small those adjustments are? Right, now that, for me, is a good position. It's not moving, see? Now the thing is, when you tighten it up, it does tend to actually shift the weight again. Let's just have a look. Okay, now to test if that's done, if I move it at an angle, it should stay. He says, well, it's staying at that one. So it's telling me that that is still front heavy, lens heavy. Okay, so for balancing, we've now played around with the vertical plate, fine-tuned on the horizontal plate, and the important angles that are going to be used on the DJI RONIN RS2. It's this one, and this one. And they're holding relatively tight for me. So now we're going to lock that up. Okay, and you see, it's steady. We're going to go for the roll motor. Okay, so that's rolling to the left. It's rolling to the left. I'm going to shift this back clasp and then move the arm to the right. There you go. Seems to be holding nicely for me. Being a carbon arm, you want to tighten it that little bit extra. Okay, so we've now adjusted the roll arm, and you can see stays in there, stays in that position, and it stays in the middle. That is balanced. Okay, lock that one up. And now for the pan motor. For the pan motor, we want to push it 15 degrees forward. Okay. Move it to the right. Move it to the left. Move it back to the center. And so long as the pan arm comes back over your touch screen, you got it centered. Now I've moved that back as far as I can. Won't go any further, so that's as best as I'm going to get it. What we're going to do now is perform a calibration test. What I want to do is unlock all the motors. So unlocking the pan motor, the roll motor, and the tilt motor. Okay, so they're all unlocked. Next we want to turn it on. 1, 2, 3. Okay, there we go. You also see now the Power indicator lights are on, fully charged. Okay, so here you'll see a green indicated camera. Now, green indicates that we have got a good balance already because it's gone through its pre-calibration process. On this side is the calibration test itself. Okay, so on a touch screen, just press that, and I've got it onto super stiff because it's a heavier camera. You can opt to take that off if you wish, but I've got it on super stiff, and I'm going to press this button, and it's going to now go through the process of calibrating. This is the reason, so you'll see it shaking, and this is the reason why you have to have all the points nice and tight, because not only during calibration may it move it out of sync, which even the slightest little movement can throw it all off, but when we're in testing, the movement of the camera itself will actually shift any of the slightly less secure points, and then that's it, you got to start all over again, and you don't want that. I've been through the frustration, so you don't have to. Okay, so let's check the results. So there's a little arrow in the top left hand corner, hit that, hit the green indicator, and you'll see that it's all perfectly balanced. Okay, hit the arrow again. What we're going to do now is a test. Okay, so we've been through assembly, balancing and calibration of the DJI RONIN RS2. What we're going to do now is a physical test, and that's the final test that we do before we go out and play. So first of all, you're going to need a smartphone that is Wi-Fi enabled. Remember to turn off Bluetooth, because Bluetooth will interfere with the signal. So you need to go to Ronin's DJI app, okay, and then we're going to turn on the Raven's Eye at the back, turn the camera on and turn that onto live mode, connect, okay, and here you see we've got the Raven's Eye now connected. So I'm just going to slop that in there, and then you can see everything that's going on through here. Okay. At this point as well, we can also test out the briefcase grip. So we're just going to go back on the app, and in order to do this test, we're going to need to put the device forward by 15 degrees, run the test, and it'll go through a very slow motion. So first of all, let's unlock it. Okay, we haven't turned the gimbal on yet. So you can see we're nicely balanced. Look at that, we could not ask for better. Okay, very happy with that. This is how it should look. Right, turning on the gimbal, 1, 2, 3. That's now on. And you see the motors have now tightened it. So if there's got any loose parts, or it looks like the balancing is loose to begin with, as soon as the motors kick in, they grip it together. Okay, so putting it forward 15 degrees. And we'll do a balance test. Begin test. Okay, you see it's now going through the motions. So once these motions are finished, we'll then do a dry run. So I'll then focus the camera onto the camera that I'm recording off, and then that'll tell us what we're doing. Okay, so with that done, what we're going to do now is attach the briefcase arm onto the remaining NATO port. Okay, with the back end 45 degrees up, and what we're going to do is we're going to put the extension grip, the tripod, the extension grip onto the back here. Okay, That now gives a very comfortable grip on our gimbal. Okay, so now we've got a very comfortable grip on our gimbal. With the weight involved, this is really handy. So you'll see here on our touch screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a tracker to the video camera that I'm recording you off. Okay, now this will actively track the video camera. So long as it actively tracks up, down, left and right, then we're ready to go outside and play. So, as you can see, the camera is now tracking the video camera on which I'm recording. And that is exactly what we want. So there we go, everybody. Test is now complete. So what we want to do now is go outside and play. So I'll be seeing you next in a Japanese theme park. See you then. Until then, thank you for watching. Be good and please don't forget to subscribe.